How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review, and yeah, it's new beer time. Beer I've never had before. Always gets me excited. But the base I've had a couple times in my life, so super excited to give it a whirl. And that is the Thomas Hardy's Ale. It's their historical ale. Thomas Hardy's Ale. If you don't know, well, then you should know, and now you know. It is one of my favorite beer, if not my, actually, let's scratch that. It's my favorite beer ever made, and it's been gone for several years. Just came back a couple of years ago, and the whole history of that, you can watch my other reviews of the base of this and then unboxing if you want to know more. But they went a step further, and they actually took the base and they aged it in cognac barrels. It's a very cool choice for them to do. I've always kind of viewed Thomas Hardy with age on it almost like a very good cognac. So to actually go in the barrels like that just makes so much sense. And they went the extra step further, and they put it into Hine cognac barrels. Cognac is like champagne. You can only be called champagne if you're from Champagne, France. And same thing with cognac. But the creator of that, Thomas Hine, actually was born in Dorset, England, which is where Thomas Hardy was from. So a lot of full circle going on. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into this one because this is, as far as I know, this is I don't know if they actually barrel-aged other versions of Thomas Hardy Ale. I've only had the non-barrel-aged version. The original 1968 batch, I believe, was in sherry casks. I could be wrong, but anyway, let's see what's on the bottle, go from there. As far as what it says on here, it says Thomas Hardy Historical Ale, aged for 6 months in Hine cognac barrels. And there is the quote from the Trumpet Major from Thomas Hardy. And then on the back it says, first brewed in 1968, Thomas Hardy's Ale is a barley wine that improves its taste and aroma over the years, maturing in flavor like fine red wines. In 2015, a small quantity of Thomas Hardy Ale was left to rest for 6 months in oak barrels. Just like the first vintage, this is our Thomas Hardy, the historical ale. They say it results in barrel aging is a more multifaceted and complex barley wine with sweet, sour, interested in that, and spicy aromas. And that be that. 12.7, 1 full percent bigger than the base. I don't know if the original 2015 base was bigger in ABV, or if they got that from the cognac barrels. And bottle 9,714. Vintage 2016, so it was a 2015 beer. And yeah, label-wise, awesome. Same shape and foil as these old school little kind of tiny little nip bottles up there. And yeah, beautiful. Love it. I got a little cognac snifter here to kind of round out the whole experience. It's got this kind of extra foiled top to it. I wonder what that. Oh, so they foil it and then kind of put that on there, I guess, to keep it from coming off. So it is what it is. Let's just rip right through this foil. Makes more sense to do it that way. Not too big of a hiss on her. And we're going to go full pour on this because this is not a big beer. Now, I'm going to give her a pour right to almost the base of it. I want to leave a little in there. Not huge as far as bits and pieces in the bottom of this one. Not much of a head either. It's a big fat snifter. Wasn't going to get much of a head to begin with, but you're talking about a beer that, if you watch my other review, it dissipated very quickly. And this one I didn't expect to have too much from it. If you actually go into the other one, I have it over there. I'm not going to bring it over. Slightly redder, more darkish kind of in color, which makes kind of sense based off of the base. When this beer actually gets a little bit, I got fruit flies going on. I never had fruit flies. I know the Hardy's was coming today. Deep, more reddish tones. Just as murky, but just a little bit more darker, a little bit more brown, a little bit more red going on in there. But give it a swirl, see how the carbonation is in this one. Not nearly as big. You'd expect that with the barrel-aged version of a beer that didn't necessarily have a very cool carbonation, but not a crazy carbonation to begin with. So yeah, we're off to a good start. Let's see if we can get a nose on her. Now that's the Hardy I remember. I really, really enjoyed the base. It actually came off way better than I thought it would, being as fresh as it was. I mean, where this beer hasn't been made since 2008. I expected the base to be a bit more green, a bit more hot than I remember, because it's been almost 10 years since I've had a fresh Thomas Hardy Ale. But it was nice. It was rounded. It was soft but aggressive, and it was beautiful. This smells like a more mature, aged version of that Thomas Hardy. And like I said, it usually came off a little bit cognac-like for me to begin with, so it just kind of makes sense. An extra year. This is a 2015 version, aged for several months, then put in a bottle. So kind of makes sense. I'm getting robust dates and figs at this point. Huge, off the charts, just in your face, like date and fig fantasticness. That cognac is coming off zero boozy, but it's adding this kind of maturity to the beer. Way more of a rounded kind of a softened kind of like super worn leather. I went with leather on the older one, but now, or the base, but this one is even more kind of a worn, just a baseball mitt that is 100 years old kind of leather. But there's a bit of that alcohol, the bit of that cognac kind of spirit net that adds a little bit of vibrancy to it. It's not as muddled and as dark as you'd think, based off of how big of a beer it is and how dark it is. It's just, I mean, this is blurring the lines between spirit and beer in a very good way. I mean that in a positive sense, in that I still get beer. It smells like a beer to me. I think it's going to drink like a beer, but it's getting to the point where it's getting to that point where it's reaching the old, and I said this in the other review, going back to a lot of stuff I said in that one, but it's getting to that kind of old leathery, old banana thing that I get from like a lot of old scotches that you really get from only old spirits, and that's why it's making me think of that kind of spirit kind of thing. Just a pleasure to smell. It's almost a beer that you just want to huff and just never end, but I gotta try it. I gotta drink it. I gotta dive into it. Cheers. That's so good. It's so good. Jesus Christ. That's hardy, man. Now listen, I'm going to regurgitate a lot of stuff that I said in the other one. It's basically like if you took the base beer and just kind of dialed everything to a soft 11. And when I mean soft 11, I mean it's all those flavors jacked up, but still super rounded. It's a compressed 11. Like if you actually have like a really loud, music stereo system, or like a concert system, you throw it through a compressor to keep it kind of rounded and soft, not get jagged on the edges. That's kind of what you have going on here. It's just so rich, so decadent. The dates and figs are off the chart. The mouthfeel is still really nice. Maybe a south. No, I'm not going to say equal to the base, and with it being through a barrel, you know what I mean? That's something. You're getting a little soft kind of tan into it, so you get a little palate smackiness. You probably see that a little bit more in this one as opposed to my other review. Just the richness in this is just next level. The dates and figs have definitely overpowered any of the caramel I got from that original one. The cognac is blended so well with the beer itself, and it honestly doesn't surprise me. Like I said, it's always been, you can go back and watch my Hardy's reviews, and if I haven't mentioned it, then I'm an idiot, but it's always come off, and I know I have, that's the thing, it's always come off more of like a cognac-styled beer to me. So the marriage of that barrel and the marriage of the beer is just beautiful. I mean, this is me. This is my beer. I'm not gonna want to drink this beer every day, all day. Well, actually, maybe I might, but I'm not gonna want to drink this beer every day, all day. You know, I want, a pale ale. I want an IPA. I want a lager. I want a pilsner. I want those beers in my life, and I want to drink them. you know. But you know, I mean, this isn't. Let's. This isn't what beer would you drink every day beer. This is a death row beer. This is you're on death row. You're gonna get the axe. They say, "What do you want for your last meal?" I want this beer. This is my death row beer. You know what I mean? Whether it be this vintage, this barrel aged one, because I do like the barrel aged one better than the base. I believe it gives that age acceleration that you would have. This, I believe. Let's put it this way. I believe the base could become this with 5 to 10 years on it. Except I'm getting that right now. This is my death row beer. This is something I want to sit and savor and drink and enjoy and just love. And it's bringing everything I grew into loving about beer. So it's not only giving me taste fantasticalness, which I believe anybody who is into beers for the malt aspect of things and that knows beers would absolutely concur. I don't believe it's homerism. I went through this in my other review. I know I can separate myself from fanboyism and judge a beer based on its merits. But once I know it's good, I'm going to let myself go, and that's what I'm doing now. It's just so. It's what I want. It's what I want in a beer. It's what I want a beer to be for me, and how I want, just beer to taste. How many times can I just gush in one sentence? I don't know. Yeah. You read a lot. If you deep dive into beer, really deep dive, not just about new hops or pastry stouts. You deep dive into beer, and if you deep dive into this, you see a lot of the. It's a very old man kind of beer. A lot of old schoolers kind of love on this beer and view it as something that is to be cherished and coveted. Michael Jackson did, and a lot of other people did. And it's a weird one because it's a beer that I've shared with friends, and I've shared with friends that just not because I was like, this person's going to enjoy this, and be like, I want to give them an experience, and some haven't really got it, and I don't know if it's a thing of being maturity in beer or whatever, but I believe that this is kind of like one of those things you just get at a certain point if you get in deep enough, put it that way, and yeah. This is, I can sit here. This is going to be a 45-minute review if I really wanted it to be. But I'm just going to try to tighten it up and try to get back on track here. Everything that was in the original is here. You get that soft little cognac, kind of sherry-like, cognac-like, sweet yet subtly underlying kind of tartness from the cognac. But it's all just trumped by the date figgy sweetness. That spirit booziness comes off, but it doesn't come off hot. Everything comes off rounded on the edges. Mouth feels beautiful. Oak tannins are on point where they should be. Give you enough dryness to make you want to go back for more. And it's just what old ales, I consider old ales, but a lot of people call it barley wine. It should be, and it's just fantastic. And by far and away, one of the best beers I've had over the past several years, if not ever. There's a statement for you. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is it one of the best barrel-aged beers? Let's just go barrel-aged beers. Just that generic that I've had as of late, yes. Could be number one. Definitely. Side by side with a bunch of stuff, I don't know. But, from a distance right now, yes. Value availability, don't know. It's coming 2017 to the States. I know the base is. I don't know if the barrel-aged version is. I don't know. But the beer itself is coming, so keep an eye out for that. And if you like what we like this, if you like beer, that's all I'm going to say. Because if you drink this and you don't like it, sure, some people like cucumbers pickled. Some people have preferences. But if you like beer, you really like beer, like open yourself up and try all different styles and drink varying different styles of beer and really just drink. Expose yourself to flavor. If you don't like this, then you're just lying to yourself, or a fraud, because this is what this is. This is good beer. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. down there is a comment section. You can get at me if you want to talk about it. All the social medias, Massive Beers, all one word. You can check me out in there, Massive Beers. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a beautiful, beautiful Thomas Hardy's Historical Ale right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.